the one, the only Benzion. Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is Sotah, daf Hey, number 5. Most of the daf deals with Agadah, though. It talks about Gases Haruach, which loosely translates as arrogance, Gavaruach, Ram Lev. People that have a heightened sense of perception of themselves. And often the word gaiva is even states that there's no word gaiva over here. You know, people learn from this Gemara about gaiva, which is arrogance. Gaiva actually is a good thing. You know, we say in Shir Shal Yom that Hashem is gaga, Shir and Az Yasher, gaga on Shir Shal Yom. We also say Malach Gus Lavesh. Hashem has gaiva. So is this a bad thing? Like Gemara said, it never mentions the word gaiva over here. It says guvar ruach, someone who is arrogant, haughty. What is arrogant and haughty? What is, even in English, what is an arrogant person? Is Donald Trump arrogant? Is he an arrogant person? No, he's not an arrogant person. He's not an arrogant person. He's called an alpha male. You know, an alpha male is somebody who talks about themselves a lot. But when they talk about themselves, they're not lying. Donald Trump tells you the truth. He's telling you the truth all the time. Maybe he exaggerates a little bit sometimes, but usually he's telling you the truth, and he gives you the truth, and he talks about himself a lot. And is that a bad thing? Is this guy an arrogant, terrible guy with terrible midos that now the firm world is telling you have to avoid, even though they loved him in the voting to 2020? They wanted him all through Borough Park. They were parading with MAGA flags all over Borough Park. We got to vote for Donald Trump, and then all of a sudden, now he's not in. Now we can't take his bad midos anymore. I don't think he has terrible midos. I mean, he calls people names too much. I think there's a problem with calling people names, but fighting with them if you're competing against each other. But I will say this: arrogance is not what people think it is. Arrogance is when you have an exaggerated, like the guvar ruach, exaggerated perception of yourself, and an exaggerated perception of this world, right? People who think too much of themselves, right? Really, they're not worth too much, and they talk themselves up too much when they have no value inherently, or they think too much about themselves, even if they're not telling anybody. And usually it's people that are not living in this world, that they have a heightened perception of themselves. I don't have to do the mundane things that everyone else has to work. I don't have to get a job. I heard, I'm going to talk more about this going forward, but I heard from someone close to me in the Haredi world that they said about a certain man. They said, who was someone that, I mean, he was part of the yeshiva, world. I think he was a rebbe or something like that. But he said, this rabbi said about himself, he said, I don't take tzedakah as a blue-collar tzedakah. I don't take the blue-collar tzedakah. I'm a white-collar tzedakah taker. What does that mean? There's two types of people that collect tzedakah. There's the people that come to the shul here every morning and make a clap on the bima and say, give me tzedakah, for whatever reason. And they'll also come to your doors. They'll knock, cold knocking on your door. They don't know who you are. And then you got the fancy Rosh Yeshiva, the big rabbis in the world. How do they earn money? Where do they get a living from? You think they have a business? There are a couple that maybe have some sort of business. Rav Chaim Kanievsky apparently sold eggs. I don't know how many eggs he sold. But no, they come. They only meet the richest people, the richest Gevirim in America, because they're esteemed Rosh Yeshiva. When they come to their houses, they're treated like kings. Literally, they're treated like kings. They sit at the head of the table. They get driven around. First class, they fly. They get driven around, and they give some words of chizuk about the chashivas of Torah, and these gvirim are donating money to them. They're basically kissing them on their hands. It's white-collared stuff. That's what they're saying. We're collecting for our yeshivas, right? But part of that yeshiva is also for my family and to marry off my kids. So it's really a white-collared stuff. You get honored, amazing honor, and you get their money, right? All because. Yeah, and then when you come back to the yeshiva, you talk terrible about these Gvirim, and you say these people are ruining the world, these people are lazy, they don't want to learn Torah. You are the one learning Torah. These people owe us the money. And you tell yourself that. These people owe us the money. We're doing them a chesed by taking their money and using it to learn Torah. No. A person who's arrogant, that's an arrogant person. A person who values himself realizes he has to do things for himself. And when you value yourself, right, you should, if you have value, right, you'll value, not always, if you have value, you have to work on it, but you will eventually value yourself. And when you value yourself, you should be talking about yourself, right? Tell about the good things in yourself. The person that cares most about yourself is you. The ultimate love is for yourself. Most people don't love themselves. It's sad. But you should love yourself, because the only person that really cares about you the most in the world, you might think it's your parents, you might think it's Hashem. No. The person that cares about you the most is you. You're you. That's it. Other people might help and care about you less, but you should love other people the way you love yourself, or at least your wife. Whatever reacha means. But you gotta love yourself. And if you love yourself, you should be talking about yourself. And talk about the positive things. Don't talk about the negative things in yourself. If someone asks you about negative things, you shouldn't lie. But you should be talking about the positive of yourself and telling everyone how great you are, if you are great. If you have real value, if you're someone that's not living in the sky, that's engaged in the mundane and doing what's necessary and doing the right thing, like the Gemara says on Hamad Beis, Shamar Chos, someone who evaluates his ways and makes the right decisions and lives in this world. He's not someone whose head's in the mountains, head's in the sky, pie in the sky. No, he's someone living in this world. He works hard, he values himself, and therefore he could talk about his value to others. Donald Trump was a hard-working person, made a fortune in real estate, a successful person on TV and other platforms, a very successful president. It's what to talk about. You could talk about yourself, be an alpha male. It's hard to be an alpha male, be confident, talk about yourself. It's hard to do that. You first gotta love yourself, and then secondly, you gotta have the courage to be strong and talk about yourself. Now, we always talk about Har Sinai. The Gemara talks about Har Sinai. Har Sinai is the epitome of anivus, of being an anav. An anav is not someone who is humble the way the world understands. An anav is someone who understands what he is and tells the truth. He's not exaggerating. That's what an anav is. We live from Har Sinai. What is Har Sinai? Archaeologists are looking all over the world. Where is Har Sinai? Where was it? Was it the Sinai Desert? Where is it? But the Torah doesn't have any vowels. The Gemara doesn't have any vowels. Har Sinai would pronounce it, but Har Sinai, the Chinese mountain. Which famous mountain is in China? It's also in Nepal. Mount Everest, the greatest mountain in the world, was Har Sinai. Now, I'm not going to deny that the Torah was given at Har Sinai, but I will say there is thoughts in my mind that the Torah is a metaphor. I don't know if the Torah really was ever given on Har Sinai. I believe at least Parshas is Sefer Bereshis, a lot of it is a metaphor. But at least not Sefer Bereshis, Parshas Bereshis is a metaphor. The rest of the Torah I'm not sure about. But I believe it's true, it's a mashal, it's a metaphor. The Torah is given Har Sinai, which is the tallest mountain. It's very hard to climb Mount Everest. People have tried. There was, in 1953, I think the first person to actually climb Mount Everest. People try all the time. There's thousands of people that try every year to climb Mount Everest. A lot of people die. It's the highest mountain. They die. Torah is hard. It's hard to be successful in acquiring the Torah, not just by learning it, but also implementing it into your life. And that's the real Har Sinai. Hashem took all the... He doesn't say Har Sinai was the lowest mountain. Har Sinai is the highest mountain, because the Torah is very hard. It's not easy to truly accomplish what the Torah wants of you. But Hashem took... He ignored all the metaphorically, the beautiful mountains, the Alps, the nice things that are beautiful, the things that's very easy to do, or it's fun to go to because it looks so nice. And he took Mount Everest, which is a bare mountain. I don't know how beautiful Mount Everest, the Himalayas are. I don't know that it's so beautiful. And he went on Mount Everest and said, it's very hard, but this is the truth. The truth is it's very hard, and we have to be realistic in life. Life is hard. It's not easy, but if you do the right thing, ultimately you'll be rewarded. Ultimately, you'll climb Mount Everest, which is Har Sinai, the Chinese mountain, and you'll be successful, and you'll accomplish what the Torah wants, and then you'll be like HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.